A reading from Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, Volume 2, Chapter 2. Chapter 2, let me see. Yes, Chapter 2, Text 74. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Śrī Gopa-kumāra tato kārṣam ahaṁ citte tatrāho kīdṛśaṁ sukham īdṛśāḥ kati vānye syur eṣāṁ pūjyaś kīdṛśaḥ. Śrī Gopa-kumāra said, I then wondered, indeed, what kind of happiness do they enjoy on Tapoloka? How many more are there like him, and what kind of Lord do they worship? Purport: hearing the answers of the sages was enough to inspire Gopa-kumāra to go to Tapoloka. Even though his main interest in life was to see the Lord of the universe, he did not consider such a journey inappropriate. He reasoned that if this wonderful person and the others on his planet like him possess opulences like that, those of God, whatever form of God they worship must be even more wonderful and opulent than they. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Taksurunmulatam Yena Tasmai Śrī Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thankfully, my barber will come tomorrow. Otherwise, I don't know anybody else, maybe a few people understand it, I look like Ted Kaczynski. Gopa-kumāra's journey. Let's just focus on Gopa-kumāra. Because in one sense, his journey is the second book. The first book, which we studied, kind of really set the objective. And the second book is more or less kind of how to get there. Because Narada Muni in the first book was kind of already at a very elevated, he was already perfect, and he was just analyzing. And now it's someone who is seeking the Lord of the universe. The first book was seeking the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy. It's very parallel. But who is Gopa-kumāra? What are his qualities? First of all, he's a Bṛhad-vāsi. There's something swabhavika within him, in his own nature, that's attracted to Braj. I remember in Vrindavan in the winter, I used to stay in Vrindavan, there weren't many people there, especially in the winter. Stay the whole winter, and so I would go in the morning. It's only 10 or 20 minutes away to a godbrother of mine named Prem Kishore, who very talented devotee, had his own little farm. And I used to sit, the most beautiful cows in the world. And at that time, I never really had my own place. Maybe sometimes I'd stay in the MVT. That's not possible anymore. Too crowded, but I would rent an apartment in the MVT, or I stayed in Giriraj Swami's house. I stayed in Satsvarup Maharaj's house. Horrible if you're a sannyasi in Vrindavan. You don't even stay in a place. Bhakti Chaitanya's house, you get a place named after you. Satsvarup Maharaj never stayed there. Giriraj Swami never stayed there. So I guess I was like the snake that went into the hole. But he used to tell me, he said, it's Vrindavan. Vrindavan means the cows, it means the birds, it means the flowers. He said, you stay in not Vrindavan, but Cementvan. So he was attracted, he was so attracted that samskara of a simple life. It means your mind already is not so disturbed. I told you, I wrote that book, I Hate Country Walks. I grew up in the city, I needed stimulation, different things, now you want to take a walk, you walk in Manhattan, now that's a real walk. Country walks, but it's so many less demands on your mind. Simple life. Prabhupada wanted that. Simple life and high thinking. So simple. So simple. And he was faithful. Just see how far he goes with this. Even though he doesn't have gyan. He doesn't have gyan. Even, look, he became the king of the kingdom. He became the king of heaven. I'm teaching so many of these classes to different groups, I don't even know what book I'm in. He became Lord Brahma, he will become Lord Brahma. And he always wants to sleep, in the forest, the simple life. And that faith, the whole Vedic culture is to instill faith. And it could be done because there weren't so many cheaters. You instill faith in the modern age, you wind up, like this, marching, whatever. You get faith in the modern age, the whole thing. That faith is just so important. The quality that allows you to explore beyond your own frame of reference and therefore expand your knowledge, enables you to do things with conviction. But you have to be in a society where they have the right objects of faith. And that's why in Kali Yuga, when the sages of Namaśranya are looking in Kali Yuga and they're looking in the future, they prayen alpa yashashubha kalavasmin yugajana manda sumanda manda sumanda, lazy. But even if you're not lazy, sumanda, you're unfortunate. So many cheaters, even if you have that objective. So he had that simple faith. He had the right guru. Even we talked about this last time, how Prabhupada credited his success to his faith, 100% faith. Such beautiful qualities. And he got that mantra, which in this verse, it reaffirms that it became his objective to see the Lord of the universe. And he had the mantra of the Lord of the universe. Now he wanted the person, the place. And he's kind of innocent, and he went to look. And he's kind of like a real sannyas. I read something today by Radha Govinda Swami. You know, a real sannyas, just moves and goes. I wrote an article, Is Sannyas Obsolete? Parivrajaka experiencing. The real sannyas was meant to wander without material protective agents so that you can actually see what you can't see when you're establishing your place with all your facilities. You can see that it's God that's providing the food. It's God that's providing the house. It's God that's providing the protection. I always marveled. I don't like snakes. We all have our samskar. It's not a good one for a sannyasi. In Jaiva Dharma, that nice novel by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when this one aristocratic man comes and he goes to the Godram Dweep in the Kunj with the Paramahamsas, and he gets freaked out by a snake, and the guru says, I don't know. It's like, I've seen it. I've seen it in India. I've seen it so many times. They see a snake and they go, sadhu deke. The snake saw a sadhu. And they're not worried. When I'm getting my butt out of there, they go, Sam, I can't take this myself. We have our one of my last Prikram, Savyasachi, he saw a cobra in Puri. He went up behind the cobra and grabbed it by the neck, put it in the bottle, and then came to show me in the ashram. I said, get out of here. Get that out of here. But he said he has rheumatoid arthritis, and it's a great cure because you grab it, so much adrenaline goes through your body. But so anyway, he went on his search, and we see his search, and it's so strange because there's these two stories, and I'm teaching these journeys, and I got to remember which one. I remember. So in his search, and he always has this grudge in his heart. It says he does. when he doesn't mean he doesn't have gyan, what it's really, and it's described as advantageous. I had a long discussion with Dhanurdhara Swami about this. It's described as advantageous. And why is it described as advantageous? Because it's not advaita gyan, knowledge of God's. You got to get rid of this in Braja Bhakti. You can't go to Krishna and be his friend and go, please accept my humble obeisances. I don't want to commit any offenses. But there's two types of gyan, Aishvarya gyan, Advaita gyan. He didn't have this kind of gyan. So it allowed his heart kind of to keep on searching for something to absolutely fulfill the heart. And that's our journey. Our journey is to satisfy the heart. That's why pain is not a bad thing. It means, or even suffering, it means something is wrong. Without that, you wouldn't know it's wrong and you'd suffer anyway. You'd suffer anyway. Sometimes the intensity of suffering is the only thing that can bring us out of a suffering condition. A terrible relationship, or, it just heightens to some kind of degree to bring us out. We're in some kind of relationship and it's toxic and we're codependent, and then, just something, so it's like that. Anyway, so he was, anyway, he's, that dissatisfaction indicates there's something wrong. The whole Bhagavatam is based on that. Narada, after doing the Vedas and doing so many things, writes the Vedas, divides it in four, the Vedanta Sutra, Mahabharata, and he's still unhappy. And what does his guru tell? Because he went to say, what is wrong? That sometimes everything is apparently so good, but feeling is there. What is wrong? He says, I haven't sufficiently glorified, his guru told him, I haven't sufficiently glorified Krishna. So we have to find where, and that's what the suffering in the material world is, because we're not doing what is natural. Our whole lives are crimes against nature. Ayurveda, what is suffering? Crimes against nature. It's not just physical, it's spiritual. It's crimes against nature. And we're suffering. And we're suffering. It's to impel us to make our lives congruent with what our soul is and move more in that direction. It's what life's lessons are about. So he's almost there, but he keeps on going to place, and it's just like, no. And he becomes attracted to something more. When you achieve your muktir, hidva, yata rupam, sarupena vivastite, when you are situated in your swarup, your real identity, and you've given up muktir, hitva, you kick out yata rupam, the other identity. Then you stay. Then you stay. in one sense, I found that in Vrindavan, at least the place I want to stay. That's it. There's no other place. Vrindavan, Govardhan. There's no other place. That's it. That's the place I want to stay. Anyway, it's interesting. He goes back to Vrindavan, but because he's looking for the Lord of the universe, and he's so simple, he hasn't found out how to excavate and find it there. Then he goes and he's looking, and okay, he found the Brahmins, and wow, Swargaloka, all the opulence, God there. He goes there, becomes Indra. Again, he's living very simple, but he has that God, but not fully manifest in his relationship. You want a person, but you want the person who reveals himself in terms of the relationship you have with that person. And a child wants his father, but wants his father as the father. Doesn't want the father as if he's in the role of the lover, he's in the role of the boss, he's in the role of the friend. No, he wants them as the father. And certain environments demand a particular aspect of your personality to manifest, where others who are not, who have another relationship will not be satisfied. That's very clear from this story. And he goes to the king. And then, who comes next? Yeah, then he's there, and then these great sages from Mahalok, and he becomes attracted to that because he sees that they're saintly people, and everyone that's there in heaven is worshiping these saintly people. So in his simplicity, he concludes that these people are more advanced, and the object of their worship may be more congruent with the nature of my mantra. And he goes there. Okay, they offer him to be a Brahmin. I don't want that Brahmin stuff. I got to do all these rituals, Sakarma Nipano, Vipro, Mantra, Tantra, Visharada, Vaishnava. I have all these rituals. I like it there, but I got my simple mantra. Yeah, I have different samskars. I don't like snakes. I don't like yajnas. I like them when they're short. No, if they're done nicely, appropriately. But those ones where they're going on for hours with the different colors and the chakras. We did one in Kali, and they had this young guy from Mayapur who was amazing. And everyone's going, swaha, swaha. And I'm going, swaha, swaha. When is this going to end? Yeah. So, anyway, it was very, very attractive. So he went there, and they used to worship. I guess they used to Agnihotra, and God would appear, and he was so beautiful. And he has a relationship with God. There's something going on. I'm repeating so many things in a different way, but there's that transcendental system in Gopa-kumāra's journey and our journey. God is directing it. And probably we all know that we are where we are now by the experiences and the destiny we had in the past. And if there was another quirk of destiny, we may have, I'm in a kind of a humorous mood now. If I didn't get hit on the head with that 2x4, walking home with my friends in Brooklyn. Maybe I would have stayed there instead of gone to California and met the devotees. But we know. Anyway, he Gopa-kumāra, he doesn't, but he's very attracted, and he always has this relationship. We discussed that. I don't want to go again. He's ultimately not satisfied, but it's still some. And then because no place, we're going to go up to Brahmaloka, a Brahma Bhuvanal Loka Puna Avratano. No place is permanent. It also, there's something in the material world that won't keep you here eternally. You'll have to face it. It doesn't matter how long you live. You have to face. So the fire comes universal every day, every 4. Yes, right. A day of Lord Brahma, I think 4 billion, no, 8,432,000,000, 300, long time. But it comes, they go to Janaloka, the next town over. It was kind of like Jersey, there's nothing in between the towns. This is like some Janaloka and Mahaloka. It's like Jersey, there's nothing between the towns there. You just go to the next. They go. It's you stop over, a little bit different. He goes back to Mahaloka, and then on Mahaloka, then we see what's happening now. They start worshiping this young boy, 4 Kumaras, who are on Tapoloka. And then each place is 1,000,000 times more opulent and happy than the next place. Each place. Because of that desire to worship God, they can handle more and more facility to do it without being. And it's still not Bṛhad, so it's in the realm a little bit of Aishwarya again. By the way, at the end of this chapter, because I'm studying with, you see, I keep on, it's very difficult. I keep on going between these 2 books. I gotta get this down. Then he goes to, he's in Tapoloka. With Gopa-kumāra said, I then wondered, indeed, what kind of happiness do they enjoy on Tapoloka? How many more are like him? And what kind of Lord do they worship? So he wants to know. This is he's a seeker. Evam tam cha didikshu san samahita manajapam Bhutva paramatejasvi tam lokam vegato. Eager to see all those persons of myself, I chanted my mantra with fixed attention, thus gaining great potency. I quickly traveled to that world. Purport: Gopa-kumāra wanted to see Sanat and his brothers on their own planet and see their worshipable Lord. He focused his mind intensely on this single aim, turning his attention inward in imitation of Sanat Kumar, who was absorbed in deep meditation. By the power of the mantra, he soon became infused with the same subtle strength as the Kumar brothers and was quickly able to rise to their exalted planet. So here also is this power of mantra with intention. Everything's important with intention. I was speaking to someone I know who's a very, very big preacher. Huge. Not a godbrother. I think as big as anybody, honestly. So I challenged him, not challenging to defeat, but challenged to get the answer that he seemed to be kind of independent and creative, and I was asking about the tension between practicality and creativity and tradition. I thought maybe he needed to be rooted more in the tradition. A little, I mean, he's incredible what he's doing. I don't want to mention his name or anything, but he does it kind of outside of ISKCON, not within the temples, and he's just huge. And so it's because he's much, much, much junior to me. And I probably know him since he's 9 years old. And he's a very strong person. He said to me, he said, I am protected by my intention. And my intention, nirvishesha sunyavadi, paschyata teshatarani. He's preaching all over the world. That spread Krishna consciousness with his impersonalism and voidism all over the world, spread Krishna consciousness. And I really, he convinced me. He convinced me of his sincerity and how far your intention can carry you. We chant a mantra, but do we want what the mantra is for? Bhakti, devotion. But ultimate love, universal love, is the object of your love. Their desires become your agency. It becomes the desires of your beloved become there, like a mother loves the child. She simply, the child cries, the child's hungry, the child's this, the child's this. Little child. So that universe, it's tough. Because our whole life is we want full agency, not to serve, but to enjoy and to control. We want full agency to serve and control. So he gaining great potency. He chanted the mantra. And how? Samahita mana japam, concentrated with the drikshu, with eager to see. And it carried him. Tatrāho maya Sriman Shanako tasanandana Ashau sanat kumaropi chaturtascha sanatana. There I saw the same Sanat Kumar and the blessed Sanaka and Sananda and the fourth brother Sanatana. They're the Nimbak Sampradaya. They're coming from the four Kumaras. When we go to Tatiyastan, that's very, very interesting. They have their own kunj, they have their own manjaris. There's a big, big spiritual world, huge. I sometimes think about that. How long has God been existing? Even in the material world, how long has God been descending? Since time immemorial. How many pastimes there must be? Because it goes on forever, and a variety of them. Things that we don't even understand. And I even believe that this Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta is that. It's channeled by Sanatana Goswami. I don't think it's been written some before, but I'm not saying it's not true. Another dimension, which is accessed by faith. samanyamanas tatrāyas tādṛṣai eva te mata sukha gostim batanvana santyagamam hi madrishai. The residents of Tapoloka, who appeared similar to the Kumaras, were honoring the four brothers. The Kumaras were enjoying among themselves a long discussion, incomprehensible to persons like me. So they were having sukha goshtim. Ishta gosti means an assembly. Ishta, to discuss your desired goal. This is sukha goshtim, an assembly, a discussion, of enjoyable discussion among others. That's what spiritual life is. Matchita matkata prana bodhiyantas parasparam. Matchita matkata prana bodhiyantas, mutually discussing among each others. And for him, though, agamyam, to persons like me, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I have no idea. Probably didn't have interest anyway, because it seems this is more Aishvarya Gan, so you're discussing about your enjoyment. If you look at Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the enjoyment of those in Shantaras, the tapasvis, the yogis, the tapasvis, God's immanence, his greatness. So the discussions, it's a bhav, because their bhav is this: God is so great. That's their feeling. That's their love. It's abhuta, wonderment, discussing God's greatness among themselves. And it probably got pretty Gyanik. And Gopa-kumāra, I don't know what they're talking about. Sukha goshtim. They're enjoying this, but I have no idea what they're talking about. Bhagava lakshanam teshu tadrim nasti tatapyabhut tesham sandarshanat tatra mahan modo mamasvata. Though they did not have the distinguishing attributes of God, from seeing those brothers on Tapoloka, I felt an immense spontaneous joy. Anyway, they're Shaktavesh avatars. This is going to come out. And Shaktavesh avatars mean that you have a certain potency to do something as if God was doing it. Vyasadeva, Shaktavesh avatar for editing. He edited the Vedas as if God. Prithu for ruling. Prabhupada for preaching. So Gopa-kumāra usually derived his happiness only from seeing the Lord of the universe, but he was delighted to see the Kumaras because of their intimate connection with the Lord, even though they did not have 4 arms like Lord Vishnu would display his infinite powers. Because of the greatness of Tapoloka, seeing Sanat Kumar and his brothers there was more blissful for Gopa-kumāra than seeing Sanat on Mahalok. In general, a situation is glorious when the place and time are glorious as well as the persons involved. Very important point. It's not just the person, it's the place and the time where that person can manifest themselves in the relationship you have with them, or in their glory, I don't know why this story comes up, but I have to tell it. I was speaking with dear Godbrother Yogeshwar, the place, and he I think he was going to school in the Sorbonne, so he spoke French, and he was preaching there, and Prabhupada came. He was so faithful, and somehow they were at the airport greeting Prabhupada at the same time where the mayor representative was greeting someone else, and he met the lady and said, well, my guru is coming. And he arranged for Prabhupada to be greeted by the mayor in the same place where the Clintons were greeted, the biggest dignitaries that come to Paris. So it was, what was it called? It's some name, but these French palaces where the mayor lives, it's like, you can imagine its grandeur. So Prabhupada came first, and he was sitting there, one of these Louis XIV chairs, and then they told the mayor's representative who he met and said, the mayor's going to come soon, and the protocol is when the mayor comes, Prabhupada should stand. Then the mayor will say something, greeting with him, and then he'll speak, and then we'll have a dinner honoring him. We know you're vegetarians, so Yogeshwar. Anyway, this is still carrying over from Prabhupada's appearance day. But Yogeshwar, he was telling me the story. He said, so Prabhupada, when the mayor comes in, you're going to have to stand. He says, I'm going to have to what? And then he said, well, when the mayor comes in, you're going to have to stand. He said, I'm going to have to what? Yogeshwar said he was sweating bullets. And then the mayor came in, and they were waiting for Prabhupada to stand, and he wouldn't stand. Yogeshwar said it was so tense. And then he said the mayor looked at the assistant who arranged it with a look that could kill. Finally, they figured out what was going on, and the mayor started to talk. And after he talked, then Prabhupada stood up, and he began to speak, and he began to blast the leaders of today and the government. Yogeshwar said it was such a difficult translation to take the edge off of it. But somehow it worked, and then he said they had a picture of Prabhupada the next day, and he was eating watermelon. It didn't look very flattering. I know some of that story. Anyway, and then sometimes to figure out why. So I was trying to figure out why, I don't know. Anyway, I was going to write something on this. Anyway, there was reasons why and what happened afterwards, and Krishna was directing things, but sometimes anyway, I don't know, I got at that. It said situation is glorious when the place and time are glorious, as well as the person involved. So I thought, wow, the city hall and the middle of the day and the mayor is glorious. Okay, let's do one more verse. We're having fun today. Itastanam priyateshu dhyana nishteshu teshvata trastum brahmani sambhavya purvavag jaganishvaram. When they went off to their respective places to absorb themselves in meditation, I started wandering, searching as always for the Lord of the universe. He's not going to like this place as much, because the meditators, it's in their heart. Where the rishis, it manifests. Purport, the assembly finished, the Kumars and their associates disappeared from the spot and returned to their individual places of meditation. Gopa-kumāra left himself, turned his mind to his favorite topic, the Lord of the universe. He conjectured that since the Lord was visible on Swagaloka and Mahaloka, the Lord must be visible here as well. With that idea in mind, Gopa-kumāra began searching. Why didn't he just ask someone where to find the Lord? He had no time to ask anything, because at first the four Kumaras had been receiving the worship of a large crowd of sages, and immediately afterwards everyone reverted into trance. Not bad, right? Imagine we're here in Middleton, New Jersey, and everyone's in deep meditation. Can you imagine how powerful that atmosphere would be? Really deep internal meditation, how powerful that would be. What Tapoloka is like, probably billions of sages and like meditating, that power, because there's an effect in the internal and external, just like in the Yoga Sutras it mentions, if someone perfects ahimsa, it gives us such a aura that no one could be violent in the presence of someone who's perfected ahimsa, even a cobra and a mongoose. There's no greater enemies than a cobra and a mongoose. Okay, we still have time for another one. Itas tato nidrisvatam apracham tan mahamunim tate stuvantam mamagre namantam lokayantyapi. Not seeing him anywhere, I tried to inquire of the great sages. But as I stood before them offering prayers and obeisances, they did not even look at me. Because this is samadhi, and samadhi means not cognizant of the outside. So they're so deep. And these are the four Kumaras, so it is meditating on God. So there is Bhav, and there is Shakti. Priyasarve samadhista naishtaka urdvaretasa. Swatmarama punakama sevyamanas siddhidi. Virtually everyone there was fixed in samadhi. They were all self-satisfied, lifelong celibates, full in the achievement of all their desires, and served by mystic perfection. Purport, occasionally the residents of Tapoloka have philosophical meetings or worship the Supreme, but otherwise they remain externally disengaged. Nothing in the outside world attracts them. So their bhav, their Sanga, was sukha goshtim, happily discussing topics, philosophical topics about God's immanence, and nothing in the outside world attracts them. Like my visa to India is for 6 months, so I want to spend 6.5 months. I want to spend a little bit into April. It's a great time. And I'm going right after my vyasa-puja. So I'm probably going to go with this nice devotee to Thailand. Somehow I have one disciple in Bangkok, a Russian lady, very sincere. Her husband takes tours. So there's one city, Phuket. I don't know anything about Thailand, but several people told me it's very passionate. Very passionate. So, this city takes on the modes of the people. Why do you think New York City is so powerful? Because just think of it. It's a rock island right off the coast, especially 500 years ago, or whatever, when it was discovered. I don't know my American history. But what a unique place for trade, because a lot of it was boat, all surrounded by that. And you can go upstate, practically to the Great Lakes by the rivers. You can cross the river, and then, you got the mainland. You can go down the coast. So what happens? It attracts people who are passionate. for trade. And then they have kids and they produce kids with that samskara. And then the passion grows, and then other people, and to this day, people become attracted there. You know, the passionate people from the suburbs, from different places, you know, Bob Dylan from Minnesota, you know, the people come there. So the place becomes constructed to satisfy the modes of nature of the people that are living there. So what about people who are tapasvis and disengaged with the world? How sattvic, how peaceful the world is. Bhagavad Darshanat Sacha Mahati Falate Name Utabud Viramantiva Tesham Sanga Swabhavata. This time, my constant desire to see the Supreme Lord was ungratified, and indeed, by the influence of the company of the sages, it seemed to dwindle almost to nil, because they're all internal. And they're discussing Aishvarya again. He needed a form of God to worship. That's why he's always thinking, let me go to Puri. Lord Jagannath's always there. He wanted to get out of Tapoloka for a while too. God comes, he disappears, and Tatap Yavasam Tesham Prabhava Bharadarshanat Gurava Gurava Drishna Valavach Chapam. Nonetheless, this is the last verse, I stayed there for some time, attracted by the display of great power, out of respect for my guru's order, and because I have seen how effective my mantra was, I kept on chanting. The atmosphere of Tapoloka weakened Gopa-kumāra's resolve to see the Lord, but he still persevered in chanting his japa. His guru had ordered him never to stop chanting, and Gopa-kumāra did not want to be ungrateful by disobeying him. There was one very nice sadhu, I don't know, some of my older disciples may know, Dadu the mailman, an amazing person. And he would never miss any of my classes. And he never wore shoes, even in the winter, in Vrindavan. I had a very interesting background and hankering for Sakyaras. And that's why he was in Krishna Balaram Mandir. And his job was delivering the mail. Because there wasn't internet, people used to write letters, and that was your sense gratification. My God, if you got a letter, oh wow, mail comes, amazing. When you were in Vrindavan, you were cut off from I remember Satsvarup Maharaj coming there, and he was like, oh, no phone. I mean, he was so ecstatic. Get away from the world. There was a time there for about 6 months where Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Giriraj Swami, Burijan Prabhu, Parthasarthi, Sachin, some of us were staying in Vrindavan all the time. So the residents of Vrindavan were these people. So the classes with Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Giriraj, Burijan, it was really something. And we were all staying there, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj had his house. It was the Renaissance. The VIHE started, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj was teaching. Bhakti True was teaching. Sometimes some of the original people who were succeeding Prabhupada in their own way, sincere, but they didn't last, and people were just taking shelter of Vrindavan, and we were there, and this is the first time we started to study and get into Radha Krishna and so many things. And then after that, it wasn't so much, it was a short time, and Dada would complain about the classes. But I say, why do you always go? He said, because my guru said, you should always go to the morning Bhagavatam. His guru was from Advaita Parivar. He said, because you can never tell where Krishna may appear. So this kind of old-time faith was very powerful. Jumunajaya, you must already be teaching yoga, I think. Are you there? No. Okay. Okay, Gail?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yeah, one line that you said that lit up for me was when you said that the person is protected by his intention.
Wait 1 second. You saw me? Okay, I got to put on my hearing aids, Gail, especially since you're so shy, you never show yourself. So that makes another challenge. It's my only kryptonite. It's my hearing. Go ahead, Gail.
I was saying that the one statement that you made that lit up for me was when you said that he was protected by his intention. I thought that was such a powerful statement.
And it affected me when I heard it from this person, because I was questioning whether he'll be protected because he was so out kind of on the limb.
Yeah.
Create.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And just for my clarity, can you just state what the principal point was in that story of, Srila Prabhupada not standing up for the mayor?
Okay.
That story was to illustrate what point?
There's many ways to look at it. I would say one was Prabhupada didn't respect these people. And for the sadhu to have to stand up to greet, it just was, maybe it was like a Vedic thing. The sadhu doesn't stand up to greet what to speak. It's not Vedic. That may be one thing. The other thing, wait. The other thing could be ahaṁ vedmi sukha veti vyaso veti naveti va bhaktya bhagavantam grayam nabudya nachatika. Lord Shiva said, I may know, Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, may know. Vyasadeva may know or may not know Bhagavatam. On the whole, Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, the spotless Purana, can be learned only through devotional service, not by material intelligence, speculative methods, or imaginary commentaries. This verse emphasizes that true understanding and realization is revealed beyond mental effort. So what I'm saying is, some things are just dictated by Krishna. We have to be very careful with that concept.
Mm-hmm.
Wind up with Jonestown. But
yeah.
For high level things, sometimes you couldn't predict what Prabhupada do, what he not do. Usually it conformed very intelligently to the world around, but sometimes it didn't. But you judge a thing by its result. The result is Krishna consciousness spread all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's one thing. Those are the two things I would think of.
Yeah, the only reason why I was considering about the first one was because generally, right, Vaishnavas they do kind of like respect the social etiquette, even for preaching purposes, right? Because you don't want to alienate people.
Yeah, I understand. On some ways, it's you can go that way, and you can also go the way. It's an official greeting of a sadhu, and he doesn't. They're supposed to greet him, right? He doesn't have to stand up for them. They should be standing up for him.
Yeah.
So it may be he was, but ultimately you can't. if you take all Prabhupada's life, there's many things that happen that when I look at the information at hand, I would have made not a better one. I would have made a different decision that seemed more rational and reasonable. But ultimately, on my conclusion, it was dictated by Krishna.
Yeah.
That's ultimately, and therefore it doesn't exactly conform always. But it's not like that's going on all the time. Those are rare instances.
Yes.
Where usually Prabhupada is, the perfect gentleman and very. There's another thing I read in Vishnu Gada's vyasa-puja offering. He told a story from the Lilamrita that this scholar came in, Dr. Yadav, and Prabhupada said, "So you're a professor of religion. What is religion?" He says, "You tell me." And Prabhupada turns to Srila Dhanurdhara and says, "What do you call a professor of religion?
Yeah.
Doesn't know what religion is."
Yeah.
He says he's a cheater. And then the guy got upset and they started arguing, etc. So when Vishnu Gada was studying this with people, one person, "What kind of Vedic hospitality is this?" And then they called up Rabindra Sarup and asked him about it. He said, "Yeah, years later I met the guy." He said, "Yeah, I come from the Yadav family. That's from Krishna's family." And I was so off. And after I got in that argument with Prabhupada, I realized I really went off and it saved me. So sometimes you cannot tell how Krishna will dictate.
Yes.
Okay, Gail.
Thank you much.
Okay, great. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. How are you?
Ishwari, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Maharaj.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll be back in Jersey soon.
Where are you?
In Alachua.
Ishwari, those of you who know, she's bought a house in the same neighborhood as Henry. And any of you want to visit Alachua?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's only about 8 minutes from the temple when there's no morning traffic. So you can go to the temple, anytime you want.
Are you enjoying it there?
Yeah, very much. Yeah, I've been doing seva in the mornings in the pujari room and meeting a lot of people, sweet people. Very nice here. Yeah.
Wonderful. Good move.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Who's that?
Raghunath, Timothy Tucker, Mara, and Grandma Terry.
The famous Grandma Terry.
Yeah.
Thank you. My honor to meet you.
She can't hear so well right now.
Wonderful.
We're having a retreat at the farm with Ramit and Carla.
Really? Give them my regards, okay?
Will do. Yeah, good to see you.
Thank you for class, Maharaj.
Okay, Timothy, good. Okay, Haribo.
Haribo.
Okay, good. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Garaj, Salgamada.
I'm Braja. Thank you for class.
Thank you for class.
Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and I got your notes about those books. We'll bring them.
Make me other offers I can't refuse.
Okay.
But she can't bring her violin.
I'll keep it home.
Okay, keep it home. No.
Okay.
Okay. Now everybody's going to ask you to play at the kirtan again. Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. This is Yabat Sundari.
Haribo. Hi.
Yeah, I'm heading back to Iran in 2 days.
Oh, good. Sudeshri is looking for she's looking for the right muhurta to come. She wants to come there as soon as possible.
Yeah, I may see her in Iran.
Oh, wait, you're going back to Iran. She's still in Iran, so hopefully you'll see.
Yeah, I hope to see her in Iran. Yeah, okay. I'm going in few days to Iran. Yeah, thank you very much for the class, Maharaj.
Thank you always for coming. I really appreciate it. Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thanks for the class.
Okay, I saw Krishna-katha and okay, you're
still a little guilty coming with us, Sadie. She loves coming here so much. Yeah.
Okay. So you're Radhika, so
yes.
you're there in
in Krishna house yet. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
you also, it's nice community, and
Yeah.
how Janmashtami was nice.
Janmashtami was nice. Prabhupada's appearance was really
Wow,
nice.
who spoke there on Prabhupada's appearance?
Oh, so many people. I don't know them by name, but yeah,
So
all
many
the
God brothers
yeah,
and mine
yeah,
and God sisters. Oh,
yeah, so many people. It's such a nice opportunity to have all these Prabhupada disciples here, and it's amazing.
I don't know what you did to deserve that, Sri.
Ours is just mercy.
It's mercy. It must be mercy. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, it's Henry.
Hey, Henry, nice to see you. Great, good. I'm getting a lot of kind of the Florida vibe there today with Ishvara Sundari, your neighbor, and Sri Radhika. Okay. You went to Prabhupada's the
Yes,
Janmashtami, and that's nice.
very powerful, very powerful. So many of your God brothers, just and sisters, just one after another, super power pack.
Name me 2 or 3 people you heard speak. You remember?
You got me. My mind went blank when you said.
I'm sorry to embarrass you for things like that, but no, there's so many. I'm forgetting common names, Henry. It sometimes blows my mind. I forget names that I know. I guess, yeah. Okay, but it's great there, huh? So many nice people there, and Janmashtami, and
Yes, yes. I mean, the association is great. Krishna consciousness is contagious, and down here you can really get a great case of Krishna consciousness.
it does mention that it's infectious. It's true. Wow, that's great. It's great. And it's the right place for you to move at your age. I mean, very smart. And you still go back to Washington, right, for functions and
I
things
go
like
back to Washington a lot. I'm there like 1 week every other month, very regularly in Washington.
well, you rent a hotel when you're there then.
I stay in a hotel. It's so easy to stay in a hotel. It's much easier than running a household.
Okay, great, Henry. Maybe one day I'll visit Ishvara Sundari and Sri Radhika. You, maybe one day I'll come to Brahmatirtha, I'll come. Okay, nice to see you. Thanks, Henry. Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Krishna Maharaj.
Radhe, Haribo.
Hare
Nice.
Krishna.
Jai, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Namaste here.
Beautiful. I
Thank
saw
you for
your
the class.
deities. That's so nice. Worshiping Radha Krishna. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Okay, Haribo. I'd like to see you
Haribo.
sometime soon. Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Siva.
Oh, Yvette, Haribo. Okay.
Haribo.
Let me see. Are you in New York?
Yeah, I'm going back to Philly a little later.
It looks like New York. Doesn't look like Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Say hello. Okay. Okay. I'll look at the list of all the nice people that are there. Haribo.